shall we?
Multiple choice time. Mine's quite a corny revolution fact, eh? The old Russian Revolution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, prototypical stereotype revolution.
Yeah.
It's not the French Revolution, it's the Russians, isn't it?
No, so
Isn't it?
typical.
Old
I'd
Tsar
have to
Nicholas.
mention it.
You know, he was King George's cousin, I think.
That's
And they looked
right.
almost exactly the same. Yeah, you know.
You've been watching The Crown, haven't you?
No,
have.
no, I haven't. I just happen to know things without watching things on Netflix. It's an astounding thing called an education.
Oh yes, right.
Yeah,
Well,
like a classical education that
that's-
taught me things before I saw it on Netflix.
sure. No,
I got quite on that. I got quite unhappy recently because one of our very early episodes we were talking about the Pepsi giveaway for the jet, and now it's a Netflix documentary.
Amazing.
Yeah, they're watching us.
They're watching us.
watching us, and they're turning.
along with-
It's a reciprocal relationship, us and Netflix.
Along with our
yeah.
500,000 other subscribers, which is awesome. And so we've gone Russian, we've gone Tsar, yes, and Crown. It turns out that they do cover a story about that, and because of the link between Prince Philip and the Tsarina or the Tsar. But of course, we know the famous story. Terrible. They were shot to death, the whole royal family.
Right.
And then was that funny story about one of the girls escaping, running through the forest, and emerging some 30 years later in Germany as Anastasia, the Tsar's daughter. Yes. And I think we all know it's been shown to be a load of bollocks. But for me, what was fascinating was, why did the myth endure? Like, and it turns out a lot of well-known people believed her, including Lord Mountbatten, Sergei Rachmaninoff. He'd fled the Russian communist thing and was in New York. So it started as she was in an asylum and mentioned to the one nurse. She said, "Oh my gosh, I think she's right. Look at the picture." And then people came to visit. So many royals came to visit, and they all had an opinion. Like, it's garbage. Like, oh, I think so. And the one quote is hysterical. It's like, the mouth has changed and coarsened noticeably, and because the face is so lean, the nose looks bigger than it was. But besides all that, she's definitely Anastasia. That was like the doctor's assistant. So she had this weird life jumping between
I think the thing is,
Europe and America.
people are desperate to believe. You know, I think a lot of scams are things that people want to believe. You know, I
Yes.
think the most successful scams are things where people get told a lie that they want. You know, like a lot of cults. They want to believe that there's something greater than themselves. They want to believe that there's some spiritual attainment. They want to believe that there's something bigger than them, than their grotty day-to-day existence, you know. And, you know, they want to believe that there is a Nigerian prince who's got $1 billion that he's just wants to give to them. You know, it's things that people desperately want to believe. And I think this thing was such a romantic story that I think people wanted to believe it. It's a little bit like, what's her name, the Russian heiress who recently went to jail. Also a Netflix documentary.
Oh, okay. I have heard about that.
Anna, what's her name? Anyway,
People just
people want to
believed it.
believe it. Yeah, they want to. There's we want a bit of romance in our lives. We want a bit of excitement in our lives. And I think these stories like Anastasia, they give you that romance and that excitement in your life. You know, you want to believe that one of the Russian Tsar's children survived this horrific event.
Indeed. And so it is multiple choice time. She died in 1984 in Charlottesville, Virginia. And like you're saying, people wanted to believe. I think the other motive for keeping the story going was people, the one chap even married her, people, I thought, if this is true, there's going to be a bit of a claim of an inheritance because there's a bit of a dynasty there. And so if I marry her, hey, or whatever, or you know, lead this campaign, there'll be some loot in it for me. So that was one of the other unfortunate. But my multiple choice question is, at her death, what was her name? What was her name at her death? Was it Anastasia, Tchaikovsky.
I think it was Jacques Callis.
Anas-
Great South African middle order batsman and bowler Jacques Callis. She took 400 wickets on the. No, no,
That's no myth. It's a beautiful.
no. That's a
truism.
legend. That's what that is.
Oh, look at you! Look at you! The first one again. What was her name at her death? This lady we're talking about.
Yeah.
Was it Anastasia Tchaikovsky? Was it Francesca Shanskowska? Was it Anastasia Monahan? Or was it Fräulein Unbekannt? Ask me what that means. Fräulein
No, that's spelled
Unbekannt.
me. There are words we say here, and there are
Well,
words
it's-
we will not.
How was your Afrikaans at school? Dietz, what does Unbekannt sound like? Ja, daar sê, dis niks fail nie. Unbekannt means unbekend. It is Fräulein Unbekannt means unknown lady.
Right.
So
right.
it was Anastasia Tchaikovsky, Francesca Shanskowska, Anastasia Monahan, or Fräulein Unbekannt.
So first one I'm going to rule out because you already said Rachmaninoff. So I think you made it up with Rachmaninoff in your head, and you went all Tchaikovsky because that was the only other composer, Russian composer you could think of, right? So let's banish that one, right? Done. I think you've doubled down on yourself, Fräulein Unbekannt. You did that as a joke, and then you thought, no, Warren's going to guess this because I've been too smart with this, and I'm going to explain it instead as a joke. So that's out. Now we've got
Closing my
Anastasia.
eyes to not reveal the windows to my soul.
Then we're going to say Anastasia, what's his face, whose surname you could not pronounce, which is interesting. I think that's a little bit of a giveaway. And then Fräulein, no, what was it? It was Mannerheim, something.
so-
Anastasia Mannerheim, which I think you thought about because you were like, oh, look, it's an Anastasia who showed up in Germany. This is what she probably. It's the second one, Ryan. That's what it is. It's the second one, and that's what I'm going
Francesca Shanskowska.
with.
At the time
Francesca,
of her
yeah.
death. Your final answer, please.
Yes, it's that one.
Francesca, and you some great work there. Some great wazzo psycho babble happening and
You feel
detective.
all that matters is it right?
No, it's wrong. It's wrong, but brilliant. So the Anastasia Tchaikovsky, believe it or not, at some point she named herself that. Anastasia Tchaikovsky. Such a common surname for a Russian.
Yeah, I mean, really.
Yeah.
She'd only heard. This is the thing. She was faking it. So the only Russian surname she knew was Tchaikovsky.
Yeah.
She was
The name Francesca Shanskowska is who they believe she really was.
Oh,
A
I
Polish
see.
factory worker.
So then she did die with that as her name.
No. When she died, her name was... No,
You
not-
don't, definitely not. You're wrong.
No.
I'm taking my points and damn you, Warren.
Fräulein Unbekannt was... I love saying that. So she was picked up in Germany after attempting suicide, jumping into a canal, and then they fished her out.
And that's what they called her.
Fräulein Unbekannt, yeah. But she married an American in Charlottesville, Virginia, who was in a very troubled marriage, but he was stuck by her because he thought, finally,
Yeah.
someday we're gonna get our loot from this Princess Anastasia. And when she died, her name was Anastasia Monahan, married to a Yank, Virginia, Charlottesville.
There
That's
we
the final answer, not Francesca Shanson.
are. Oh, there we are.
Very good work, but you're wrong.
Interesting.